It all began in a small, windswept town on the California coast, where the ocean whispered secrets to the shore and every sunset felt like a masterpiece painted just for that moment. This is the story of Maya and Ethan. Maya was the daughter of a respected judge. Her life was a blueprint of grace and discipline, a world built on rules she was raised to follow without question. Ethan, on the other hand, was the son of a fisherman. He was as free-spirited and untamed as the sea itself, a boy who saw rules not as boundaries but as lines waiting to be crossed. They were from two different worlds, two separate orbits that were never meant to collide. But one warm summer evening, fate decided to rewrite the stars. The setting was a lavish charity gala hosted by Maya's father. The air was thick with the scent of expensive perfume and the quiet hum of high society. Men in sharp suits and women in elegant gowns moved with practiced poise, and then there was Ethan. He wasn't a guest. He was there to handle the event's lighting, a shadow moving along the edges of a world he didn't belong to. And everyone, with their polite smiles and sidelong glances, made sure he knew it. While perched on a ladder adjusting a spotlight, he fumbled, and a loose wire clattered near Maya's table. For just a fraction of a second, their eyes met across the glittering room. It was a fleeting moment, but in that single, silent exchange, the very air between them seemed to shift. The world, for both of them, felt suddenly, irrevocably different. Later that night, long after the last of the polished guests had departed, Maya slipped onto the balcony. She needed to escape the suffocating weight of expectations that filled every room in her life. She found she wasn't alone. Ethan was there, quietly packing up his tools under the soft glow of the moon. A small, knowing grin touched his lips. "You're not supposed to be out here," he said, his voice a low rumble against the distant crash of the waves. Maya, surprising even herself, smiled back. "Neither are you," she replied, her voice barely a whisper. And just like that, a conversation sparked to life. It started quietly, hesitantly, then flowed into something effortless, something addictive. They talked for hours, sharing secrets under a sky full of stars that didn't seem to judge. That night, something fragile yet powerful took root in the space between them, something as beautiful as it was dangerous. The days that followed bled into weeks, each one colored by their secret. They met on the beach at dusk, their sacred time where the sound of the ocean hid their voices and the rolling waves seemed to keep their promises. They talked about everything and nothing about dreams they'd never spoken aloud, about the true meaning of freedom, about all the thoughts they were forced to keep locked away. Ethan taught her how to find beauty in the beautifully simple things, in the sharp, salty air on her tongue, in the unbridled joy of real laughter, in the liberating feeling of just being herself. In return, Maya showed him what it meant to believe in something greater than circumstance. She taught him how to fight for love, even when the entire world screamed that it was wrong. They were building a world of their own, one stolen moment at a time. But secrets, especially ones this precious, have a way of finding their way into the light. One evening, Maya's father discovered her phone. A simple message from Ethan was all it took for her carefully constructed world to shatter. The next morning, the storm broke. Her father's anger was a hurricane she couldn't escape. His voice thundered through the house. "You are a judge's daughter," he yelled, his face a mask of fury. "You will not throw your life away for someone like him." Maya tried to defend their love, to make him understand, but her words were drowned out by her own tears. The verdict was swift and absolute. She was forbidden to leave the house. Her phone was taken, Ethan's number was blocked. Their private world, so lovingly built on whispered conversations and shared sunsets, was torn apart overnight. But love, true love, doesn't obey rules. It doesn't yield to threats or lock and key. A week later, Ethan found a way to send one last message. He went to their beach, to their spot, and wrote in the wet sand where the tide would soon come, "If you still love me, meet me here tomorrow at sunset." The next day, Maya made her choice. She slipped out of the house, her heart a frantic drum against her ribs. She ran barefoot and breathless, down the familiar path to the shoreline. The wind roared in her ears, and the sky burned with the fiery oranges and purples of a dramatic sunset. It felt like the world was holding its breath with her. She reached their spot on the beach. But Ethan was gone. The truth was a colder, harsher wave than any the ocean could offer. Her father had found out about the message. He had intercepted Ethan, threatened him, and used his power and influence to force him out of town, to disappear from her life for good. That night, Maya sat alone on the sand, her sobs lost to the incoming tide, and cried until the ocean washed her tears away, leaving her hollowed out and empty. Years drifted by. Maya walked the path her father had laid out for her. She went to law school, started a successful career, and shouldered all the responsibilities that came with her name. She did everything she was supposed to do, but a part of her heart remained anchored to that small coastal town. Every time she saw the ocean, every time she smelled salt on the wind, she thought of him. Then, one summer, she found herself back in that same town for a work conference. On an impulse, she took a walk down to the old weathered pier near their beach. As she walked along the wooden planks, her eyes caught something carved into a piling. Her heart stopped. The letters were worn by years of sun and sea spray, but they were still there. I waited for you every sunset." Tears welled in her eyes, blurring the horizon. She didn't know if he had ever come back. She didn't know where he was or what his life had become, but standing there in that moment, she understood something profound. Their love story might not have had the ending they dreamed of. It might not have been accepted by her family or by society, but it had been real, and real love never needs permission to exist, it simply is. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this story with me. If it touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories that explore the depths of human connection. I'll see you in the next one.